Hello, my name is Daniel Roberts, a volunteer at the Highline Heritage Museum, and you're listening to Highline Times in History on KQWZ 106.5 FM. And I'm with Roger Price.
We're both here at the museum today. We're sitting in the radio booth of One America. Do a little recordings, and we're going to try to do an ongoing show, a series during the summertime.
And the hope of this program is to record some of the memories of a long-term resident of the Highline area, so that you guys can enjoy it now or years from now.
Okay, well, thank you, Daniel. Yes, KQWZ 106.5.
Thank you for listening, and enjoy the show.
Good afternoon. I'm Roger Price, and I'm a volunteer here at the Highline Heritage Museum. And today we're going to discuss about when the city of Burien tried to incorporate over the last 50, 60 years. And I believe the first attempt was back in about, 1954? Was it, Daniel? Is that?
Yeah, that is about right. Was 1954.
Oh, okay. So maybe you could we have Daniel here, and he's kind of going to run us through the different years that we uh, tried to get annexation from from Seattle, and Burien become a city of its own. So, Daniel, maybe you can fill us in a little bit.
Yeah, so there was about it looks like six total attempts, with the last one succeeding. The first one was in 1954, and then there was another attempts in 1960, 1961, and 1984. From what I saw, looking up for the 50s and 60s attempts, a lot of the idea was more self-governance. They were wanting to be able to make use of their own tax dollars on and have more control of what they wanted to do, like where it went. They thought there were some attempt ideas that it might even be cheaper overall, but there's also people that are against it, thinking that it would be more expensive, even that that you'd have to rebuy some of the equipment that was already bought, that these fire trucks that they had bought, that would just go to Seattle, and that then they'd have to go buy their own ones, or that then they would have to that the prices, like for services like police services or firefighting services and that stuff, would go up in price. There was even some kind of pushback from some of the other local communities, because they thought, no, this area that you're proposing to annex for your city, we've already developed that, and you can't just take that. So it was a kind of interesting back and forth. They even talked about people that were supporting incorporation, like saying that actually you wouldn't have to repurchase these things; it would go to us. But as anyone that's lived here knows, that didn't succeed for the until 1993.
Yes, well, yeah, there was this sure brought up a few times. So, I guess the 54, then it went on to 1960. Uh, so what, you know exactly what it was the reason why they turned it down in 60, or is it,
It was, from what I could see, it was basically people thought that the prices of taxes would go up, that just the cost of living would go up if they incorporated it, and that they'd just prefer to be continuing to be part of like the county, like that it wasn't worth whatever benefits being incorporated.
I see, sure. Yeah. So, and then the following year they also did it, and that was I think it was a little different boundary at that time, wasn't it? Or didn't Lake Burien have some the actual lake and the residents that lived around the lake, wasn't that excluded or something? You know what that was actually amounted to? I don't know. I think it was rejected again anyway. So,
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on the exact boundaries. I did put up some of the proposed boundaries at the beginning of the video. So if you're interested, you can always go back and see that. But a lot of it from that one, it sounded like they were just trying to make adjustments, see if we rework the idea for the boundaries if it would pass. And I think then it wasn't brought up for another couple decades because it was having elections or votes for these dish or being incorporated is expensive and people didn't want to spend the money if it wasn't going to pass.
yes, that's definitely true. So, and then, yeah, so then we skipped all the way to uh, what was it, 1984? And I think the boundaries each time were a little bit different. I know that there was some problems with the northern boundary up around 112th and 116th, and some areas were included one time and excluded and different things. So I know over around Glen Acres and in that area, Boulevard Park, there was the boundary changed a little bit, and then also the airport came into play too. Actually, then because Burien wanted a little bit of say on different areas there too, so that they couldn't the port couldn't just take over everything. But it was a tough battle after that. So,
Yeah, so like it was a brief mention from my research in the 60s about SeaTac, but the concern with the airport was much more pronounced in the 80s and 90s. The 1980s proposed city was a lot bigger. It was proposed as the city of Highline to my from what I remember.
uh-huh,
But yeah, there was with that one that was concerns with that it was infringing with other communities territory, I guess would be a idea way of saying it.
uh-huh,
And the 1980s one, that one did ultimately fail, though perhaps it did have some influence on the SeaTac being more willing to negotiate. From what I some of my research, they did end up buying some of the houses immediately adjacent to the airport, which some of these residents had issues with, like I guess windows being broken or cracked, and it's just general noise complaint.
uh-huh.
And then the 90s, it was an attempt to push back or have more negotiating against the third airfield or airstrip. Uh, Obviously, that didn't, and then that got built, but that it might have given them some more say. It certainly did delay the actual construction of it because if I remember right, it was originally planned that the third air strip would be finished in like 2000 or late 90s, and I believe it was around 2006 that it was ultimately completed.
Uh-huh, yeah. Well, I can remember the trucks running back and forth on 509 all day. It's 24/7, it seemed like. So there was a lot of fill there, but it was eventually completed, and it was a kind of a give and take deal where the airport was really pretty good about insulating people's homes, putting in some cases triple windows, triple pane windows, or double pane insulated. So it turned out so that some people they lost their home, but the airport was real fair about everything. So I think it was a win-win for each sides there. So, but yeah, we can we'll move on, and eventually the city passed became the Burien, and that's where we stand today.
Yeah, I'm sure with the airfield, it's or airport that it's definitely can be a touchy subject for some folks, but it sounds like with the incorporation that at least gave them a little more control, a little more say, a little more leverage, and well, in the end, compromise isn't the ultimate compromise when nobody's happy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. We ended up getting to town square and a new library and different things. So it came out okay.
Yeah, now, so anything else you'd like to say? Any interest, like ever since maybe any differences since the city has become a incorporated city?
Oh, I'm kind of a go along with, excuse me, but I think it worked out well. I know we have our police department here, but they're county police, but they are designated for this area. So that worked out all right. I know Normandy Park, they incorporated way back in 1953, I believe, and then SeaTac, uh, they incorporated, I think it was maybe in the 90s also. So there's only one area, I believe, and that's the northern section of Burien and it's unincorporated up towards White Center. So I don't know when they're going to solve that issue, but that's really a thing for another day. So, but yeah, I think it's been a Burien's as a is a good community, and it's always been kind of uh, quiet around. So we'll leave it like that.
Yeah, and it's just been interesting to kind of hear about the back and forth and the politics and how what people's thoughts were on being incorporated. For
Uh-huh.
myself, I never really thought much of incorporated, unincorporated, city's a city, but obviously there's a lot more to that.
Sure, yeah, and I know that there was a lot of controversy about the environmental issues with the third runway, but the airport did a good job on fixing all those problems with the creeks that run parallel to the airport and making them all environmentally friendly. So that it was also something that they did a good job with. So I think it turned out good.
Well, yep, it's seems that it worked out at the best that it probably could have in the end.
Yeah, well, that's good, Daniel. I think we did a little bit of a background about the incorporations of Burien, and so it finally, after so many attempts, it finally passed, and now we've been a city for over 20, 30 years. So I forget exactly. Yeah, it probably was a 30-year anniversary here a year or two ago. So now we're moving on.
Yes, sir. Well, yep.
Okay.
Thank you for talking with me, and I think that's about it from us for today.
Okay, great. Thank you.